8. Fiona picks me up for school the next morning, and she's a little chatterbox, which I find exhausting, especially since it feels like I didn't sleep a wink the whole night. They cost $20,000. I finally blurt. $20,000. She pulls into the student parking lot. What do? Those running legs. I looked it up online. She shrugs. So we will raise $20,000. I blink at her for a full minute, then shake my head and slouch in my seat. You are dreaming. She just smiles at me and starts chattering about something else. First and second periods seem to drag on forever, and at break I seriously consider going home. Sick, but I've already missed way too much school, so I tough it out, convincing myself that it's important to stay. At lunch, Fiona decides we should eat in the courtyard. It's gorgeous out today. Who wants to be inside? She parks me on a bench near a scrawny elm tree, where I feel strangely invisible as she goes off to fetch two Mandarin chicken salads. Everyone seems to have somewhere to go, someone to see. It's not that people are trying not to look at me, they are just into their own things. It feels like I'm in a movie where everyone has a role and a place and a purpose, and I'm one of those silent extras they pay to sit and look like they are part of the show. I'm relieved when Fiona returns. Sorry that took so long, she says, handling over my salad. She checks me over. You doing okay? I shrug. I don't know. I was so up yesterday, but I've definitely crashed back to earth today. I snap open the salad lid and sigh. It's nice of the team to want to help, but do you remember how long it took to raise $2,000 for a new discus cage? It was almost 2 years. How are you ever going to raise 20,000? Look, she says, zigzagging dressing across a salad. You are not a discus cage. You are a flesh and blood person who this tragic thing has happened to. People will want to help. She smiles at me. Give them a chance. This should make me feel better, but it doesn't. A dark cloud has formed between me and the dream of running again. A dark cloud called reality. Chapter 9. I have a socket fitting schedule at Hank's after school. A socket fitting. I don't really even know what that means. I'm quiet on the drive over, and so is Mom. I wonder what's going on with her and Dad and the whole money issue, but I don't ask. I just watch the road ahead. So does she. The exterior of quality orthotics and prosthetics does nothing to lift my mood, but the instant we go inside. Chloe certainly does. Jessica, she says from behind the counter. Are you excited? I can't help but smile, because she sure seems to be. I guess, I tell her. Well, come on back. He's ready for you. My mom and I exchange looks as we follow Chloe. No Mr. Benson holding us up this time. Chloe leads us to the same room we were in before, and Hank comes in holding a clear plastic version of the cast he took on Tuesday. My name and the date are written right on it in black marker, and along the back are two screws holding the plastic together. He greets us, then has me roll up my pant leg and take off my shrink sock while he gets a stocking net out of a cupboard. After the stocking net is on, he holds up the plastic cast and says, So this is your test socket. What we'll do today is check for pressure point, distribution of weight bearing, and fit. If there's anywhere that hurts, be sure to tell me. It should feel snug, and there'll be pressure. But after you get used to it, it shouldn't hurt. He smiles at me. Ready? I nod, and he gets down on his knees and slips the socket over my stump. I feel like a freak show Cinderella getting a strange glass slipper put on, but that image vanished when I realized that the socket feels good. How is that? He asks. Surprisingly comfortable. I tell him. He pushes up on it from the bottom. How's that? Okay, I tell him. He pushes harder. No pain? I shake my head. The, the clearance here, he says, pointing to the base of the socket, should be enough so that you don't feel it when the leg is complete and you are standing on it, but not so much that it creates an area where your residual limb can pull with the fluids. He nods. I think we've got a good fit here. Next, he has me bend my knee and he checks all around it, especially in back. The kneecap is exposed and the socket is cut away so I can flex, but it does pinch a little behind the knee. Does this need to come down some? He asks. I think so. He goes on to check the socket from all angles, making small marks on the plastic as we go over the pressure point. Then he has me stand and lean my short leg on a big block of wood. It's the first time I've stood on both legs since the accident. How is that? Very strange, I tell him. But is there pain? Excessive pressure? Close your eyes and feel it. Maybe a little right here, I tell him, pointing to a spot on the inside of my knee. He marks it, and when he's sure there are no other spots, he has me sit down again and slips off the socket. I think we are set. I should have your leg ready a week from today. It'll be temporary prosthesis, Jessica, because your leg is still changing. But after you are trained on the temporary and your residual limb has had a few months to stabilize, we will do this again, only with the parts that are more suited for your lifestyle. Meaning? He looks at me. You're an active young lady. We want to get you a leg that can keep us with you. But first things first, and that is to get you working. I am about to ask him what he knows about running legs, but before I can, my mom says, could I have a word with you about administrative matters? He glances from her to me and catches her drift. Sure, why don't you talk? In my office? So they leave while I pull my shrink sock back on and pin my pant leg up. I try not to think about what administrative matters might be because it's clearly about money. I try to block the thought of running from my mind. I try to focus on walking. In 1 week, I'll have a leg. In 1 week, I will learn to walk again. In 1 week.